In every era of the NBA, we have various archetypes at each position that teams covet. Each one will have various skills that pertain to their specific era, like how in the current day, shooting and positional size are notable ones that teams look for. The one fun thing about sports is how some players have skill sets that translate to various eras, and in some cases, could be even better fits for those that follow them. Now that we're deep in the offseason, this is something I thought would be fun to highlight. We always talk about how deep the talent pool in today's NBA is, but what about those who came before them, and would their games or skill sets have fit well in the present day? This will be the second part of a series where I'm going to highlight some of the players whose games would translate. This will allow us to celebrate the game, provide some nostalgia, and let younger fans get some insight into players they might not be familiar with. In recent years, we've seen more NBA teams running their offense through bigger guards or wings. One of the first players to embrace this trend was Grant Hill. From the moment he was drafted third overall in the 1994 draft, Hill hit the ground running. Listed at 6'8", Hill was a primary facilitator for the Pistons, and from ages 22 through 27 with Detroit, averaged 22 points a game to go with nearly 8 rebounds, 6 assists, and over a steal and a half a game. In that time, Hill won Rookie of the Year and was named to the All-Star Game 5 times, along with 5 straight years where he was named at minimum second-team All-NBA. Grant, like other young players in the late 90s, also had the pressure of being considered the next Michael Jordan. He said about the label in a 1999 interview, "There have been so many Michael Jordans. I think we've all lost count. I think I've been pushed aside, and it's Kobe's turn. I can tell them how it is. It's too much for one man. We've got to gang up on Michael's image if we hope to match what he's done." Hill signed with the Magic in free agency during the summer of 2000, but unfortunately, he dealt with an array of injuries during his time in Orlando. Over his 7 years there, he played in just 200 games, which includes missing an entire year due to injury. As a result, we unfortunately missed out on a lot of Hill's prime. Though Grant found a second wind in Phoenix, where he emerged as a valuable role player for the Suns in his mid to late 30s. Given that he primarily scored around the basket and in the mid-range in his prime, Hill had barely attempted over 250 threes in the first 12 years of his career, though on the Suns, he took a little over 1 3 a game and became dangerous in the corners, where he hit just under 41% of his attempts over his first 4 years with the franchise. Grant also gained a reputation as a defender during this time, as he had 3 seasons in Phoenix where he got votes for Defensive Player of the Year. Hill at his peak was consistently one of the top 10 players in the NBA, and while he still made the Hall of Fame, we were robbed of seeing a good chunk of what should have been his prime, though he did have a skill set that was ahead of its time. At his peak, Hill was a 6'8" wing with the ability to create his own shot, score in a variety of ways, punish mismatches, a knack for getting to the free throw line, and also being a very good facilitator. While he didn't offer much as a three-point shooter early in his career, we did see growth from Grant later on that suggests that if there was more emphasis on it, he could have been serviceable in this regard. As a whole, Hill's blend of versatility in today's game with the added spacing would be a sight to behold. Every NBA team covets positional size and players who can contribute in a variety of ways. In the 2000s, not many players could match Lamar Odom in that regard. At 6'10 with a reported 7'4 wingspan, Odom had the size, movement, and length that teams would covet for defensive versatility, though he was also an impressive passer and could score in a variety of ways as well. In the first 6 years of his career, where he spent time with the Clippers, Heat, and Lakers, Odom had usage rates in the 20s and stuffed the stat sheet. In his ages 20 through 25 seasons, he averaged 16 points a game, where he had a few years that were above league average from an efficiency standpoint, to go with 8 rebounds, 4 assists, and also averaged a steal and a block per game. Though from that point, Odom had a stretch that would be the best of his career. For the next 6 years with the Lakers, Lamar was well above league average according to shooting metrics, despite not being a great three-point shooter, though things seemed to truly click for Odom when he moved into the sixth man role in 2009, where his ability to do a bit of everything at his size translated very well, and this season was the first of 2 straight Lakers championships. The advanced metrics loved Lamar's impact in that role too. The stat Darko, also known as daily plus minus, is a very popular advanced stat. Now take a look at where Odom ranked in that metric in 2009, which was his first year primarily coming off the bench. He ranked 6th in the entire league that season, and as you see, was surrounded by a bunch of future Hall of Famers who were among the league's premier players at the time. After the two titles, Odom won the 6th Man of the Year award with the Lakers in 2011, before playing 2 more NBA seasons and playing his last game in the league at 33 years old. While Lamar never made an All-Star game, his versatility and his size was ahead of its time and proved to be very valuable. Odom was able to score and facilitate in a variety of ways, but he also could defend various positions and was willing to do the little things. Add that all up, and you have a player who could play a variety of positions, contribute in all facets on both ends of the floor, and was able to impact winning at a championship level. A team would covet that in any player, but Odom's ability to do all those things in the era he did, while also being 6'10", made him a player who was ahead of his time. In the modern NBA, where teams are shooting more threes than ever, there would be plenty of interest in a premier shooter who also happened to be 6'10" and primarily played on the wing. That's what Peja Stojakovic was when he was in the NBA. Selected in the famous 1996 draft, teams didn't study the European prospects like they do now, and Peja spent a few years overseas before coming to the NBA. Stojakovic came off the bench his first 2 seasons in the league, but broke out in his first year as a starter in 2001 for the Kings, where he averaged over 20 points a game and ranked 8th in the league in true shooting percentage. That was the first of 4 straight years where Peja ranked in the top 10 in that metric league-wide. Though starting in 2002, he went on a 3-year run where he made 3 straight All-Star games, averaged just under 22 points a night, shot 41% from 3, and even came in 4th in MVP voting in 2004. In that 04 season, Peja hit 243s, which at the time would have been the 3rd most in a single season in NBA history. To put it into perspective how often guys shoot from 3 now, that figure is now tied for 52nd all time. Though Stojakovic wasn't just a 3-point shooter, as he could score in other ways and put the ball on the floor a bit as well, though his 3-point shooting was the true calling card that made him unique for his time. Compared to others in his era, he understandably had the neon green light from deep, and to give context to the era, was routinely among the league leaders in 3-point attempts per game, despite never exceeding 7 per night. By comparison, in this past NBA season, 26 players who qualified for the per-game leaderboards attempted at least 7 threes per contest. In today's game, Peja's career probably looks a bit different. He's likely taking 10 or more threes a night out of every action you could think of, and is also probably playing a different position. At 6'10", I'd think he would be utilized as a stretch forward and would be even more dangerous surrounded by more high-volume 3-point shooting threats. After being traded by the Kings to the Pacers in 2006, Stojakovic played for a few different teams before winning a championship with the Dallas Mavericks in 2011 and retired a few months later at 34 years old. For his career, Peja now ranks 28th in NBA history in threes per game, where he's surrounded primarily by current players. That ranking will keep going down as players continue taking more and more threes. But don't let it be forgotten that Peja's high-end shooting, let alone doing it at 6'10", was a great sign of what was to come within NBA offenses and basketball at large. That wraps up the second group of players I'll be looking at for this series. Collectively, this was another group that highlighted skills teams look for today. All the players mentioned had great positional size, and then individually had traits such as versatility, length, outside shooting, facilitating, and many more. If you had any suggestions for players you'd think would be good fits for this series, feel free to leave them in the comments, and I'm looking forward to you joining when I take another trip down memory lane to see what players had skill sets that were ahead of their time. If you made it this far, thank you, and if you enjoyed the video, make sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with my latest in-depth NBA analysis.